Heidi ho neighbors, Radio Goji here, and welcome to Squeeze the World Toys. And today we're going to start another series of building videos for another Super Minipla model. Last time I built the Live Robo from Live Man, and I had so much fun that when I found out that there was a Super Minipla model of this guy here, and that he was affordable, I knew I just had to kind of go for it. So what we have here is the Muteki Shogun from Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger, or if you're more Western inclined, the Shogun Megazord from the third season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is going to be a bit of a bigger model here. Unlike Live Robo, which was 3 components, this is actually 5 components, so there are 5 separate kits here. And I'm actually going to be doing things a little bit differently. Rather than building all of this in one day like I did with Live Robo, I'm actually going to be building these 1 kit per day. Even considering that I took, an hour break in between last time so that I could just get some of that, basically just get the video footage off of the camera. If I add up all the time I actually spent building the thing, it was probably about 2.5 to 3 hours. And then, that's, even considering there was a lot of stuff cut from the videos. But this is going to take quite a bit longer. Not only are there 5 components this time around, but they're also fully posable humanoid components as opposed to just animal-themed vehicles. And I'm just kind of spitballing here, but I think it's going to take more along the lines of like 5 to 7 hours to complete the whole thing. I don't have that kind of time, really. I don't want to be sitting here doing this all day. So I'm just going to kind of space it out to kind of make it a little bit easier on myself in many ways, not only in preventing myself from getting burned out from the project, but also I can more easily just get the footage off of the camera when I'm done, prepare it for the next go. So, yes. Anyway, much like Live Man, all of the kits are packed in this bigger shipping box with monochrome graphics around, and they show off different pictures of the Muteki Shogun itself. There are also several iterations of this group shot of the Kaku Rangers, or the Alien Rangers, I guess if you want to call them that. They were ninjas in Japan. That makes more sense in the context of the footage. Here's a picture of the components coming together to make the robot, and also pictures of the components themselves, known as the Kyodai Jusho. I looked this up. Means giant beast generals. I'm just going to call them beast generals from here on out. You also got another cool shot of them with they all have individual weapons as well. So that's kind of cool. And much like Live Robo's box, there's a kind of a strip that goes around here to open it. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. I'm really, really excited. Also, I do want to remind everyone, I do have my normal tools for this. I've got nippers for getting parts out of the sprues much easier. I have tweezers for applying stickers. I also have, pretty much the same ones, but I do have a couple of halves of Q-tips for helping to apply the stickers. And if need be, I also have a hobby knife here. Alright, so let's get to the unboxing section of this. And if it's anything like Live Robo's box, it will this little strip will rip off about halfway through. Looks like it's going to. Just about. I mean, not that it really matters. I'm going to be throwing this away anyway, but... Yep, there it goes. Got to come around from the other side. Hold on. Oh, now it's tearing off the graphics of the box. Alright, there we go. Let's just put this over on the couch here. The couch is going to be a mess. Well, there's like a kind of strip kind of holding it together like that. There we go. Alright, now here we have the individual boxes with actual color graphics that we can show off here. So basically the same sort of pictures except in full color now, and looks a lot better. Are they all numbered like that? No, this is just, I don't know what this one signifies. Because they all have I don't even know if that's a 1 or not. That's just, they all have the same thing on the side, that they have, pictures of those and of the individual characters with the weapons, and showing that the weapons can all combine together to make a super weapon, or a couple super weapons. I know they can also make one super weapon, but, So, like I said, we do have 5 individual components, all of which are humanoid components based off of different, I guess, ninja folklore animals. That may make sense when I look at them, that they would be a folklore or whatever. So here we have, this one is Red Saruder, which is used by Ninja Red and is based off of a monkey. Saru means monkey, so Saruder there. This one is White Kark. Oh, you even got the numbers are colored like the colors. You got Ninja White's White Kark. Kark is based off of Kaku, which means crane, because it's based off of a crane. This one is Yellow Kumard. Kuma means bear. So you got that. Got Blue Logan. Not anything having to do with Wolverine, but Ro is a form of wolf when using compound words. I think Kaku is used for crane, is also used as a compound thing. And then we have Black Gammer, or Gamma. I am more inclined to say Gammer because it sounds better. I mean, Gamma means toad, and it's based off a toad. But I have seen it romanized as Black Gammer in most places. But Ninja Black pronounces it as Gamma in the show. And this is significant because the actor who plays Ninja Black, as well as Ninja Black's character himself, is American and basically speaks Japanese in an English accent, or an American accent. And he says Gamma rather than Gammer, so take that how you will. I'm probably still going to say Gammer just because it's easier to say, I guess. Though Gamma does sound cooler in many ways. I don't know. Depends on how much of a weeaboo I want to be. So I'm going to take these 4. These are going to be done at a later date, or later dates, I should say. I'm basically putting these up, the week that I'm putting these up are going to be put up alongside the normal toy videos and LP videos, rather than just doing these once a week, because then we're going to be here for over a month doing this. So let's get the ball rolling by opening up our first box. We're going to do Red Saruder today, because his is the first numbered box. I'm opening up the box properly so it's less of a mess. Oh, there's a little gold bit in there. Oh, and there's our candy. Gotta have the candy. Whoa. It's probably gonna be a little bit better for me too, only having 1 candy per day, rather than 5 candies in one day. Okay. This is transformation and combination instructions. I take it that everyone is going to have their own. Oh no, this is just a full sheet of general instructions for all 5 for transforming and combining. So I'm only going to have to. I think I would only get one of these then. I'm still going to put that off to the side for now. And here are the assembly instructions for Red Saruder. Much like before, I'm probably going to cut out a lot of the boring bits, or a lot of the stuff about that just show me kind of this part is numbered this way. I found out that there's a lot of that stuff that I just wanted to cut out last time. It's mainly just going to be, again, me talking about random crap while I build this, and also talking about like whenever I finish a runner, or come on out. You know what I'm saying. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Oh, I already see some painted bits. I love painted bits because that's less stickers I have to do. There's some black printed on those, and the little castle house part is painted, and that's Red Saruder's face. Oh, the Muteki Shogun face is painted. It's not a black sprue for some reason. Because I was about to say, I didn't see anything pertaining to like the little paper crane or whatever that unfolds into the head. I figured that'd be coming with White Kark, but then I remembered that that part actually kind of stores inside of Red Saruder, so it does make sense that it would be with this set here. Also some painted bits on that. There you go. But the sticker sheet is still pretty sizable, but it doesn't look like there's going to be too many like pain in the butt stickers. I think there's like one that I can see there that looks like it might fold over like several places. Those are the kind I really hate. Also the super tiny ones, but while there are some small ones on here, all the super tiny ones are just kind of like, we don't have to put face stickers on at the very least, is what I'm getting at. Those are the worst. Everything is the worst. Oh my god. Alright, so it looks like we're starting off by making an arm. No, it looks like just the body. Well, no, arms. The arms are just smaller. So yeah, here's where I talk about interesting things about the robots themselves. Whoops. Probably one of the more interesting things I learned about the Kaku Ranger mechas when at least I thought it was interesting when I first learned about them. This was back when I was first getting into Super Sentai when I found out about this. I, like most people, did watch Power Rangers as a lad. And, you know, I actually thought, I didn't know that it was like a Japanese adaptation. I thought it was just like an American show. I'm sure that a lot of people did. We were none the wiser back in the day. I didn't, you know, I never really, I think I may have mentioned it before, but my brother and I didn't really get to watch it, like, from beginning to end or anything like that. Our parents were a lot more restrictive on how we watched TV, and it wasn't anything having to do with, like, oh, Power Rangers is violent or anything like that. They didn't care about that. It was more along the lines that they didn't want us watching as much TV when we were younger. And, you know, look at me now. I play video games and watch TV. That's the only thing I do in my spare time. And build this for the internet. But, you know, we didn't know about Super Sentai at the time. And something I found out that was incredibly interesting was that when they had when Kaku Ranger was being adapted into Power Rangers, they actually swapped the order in which they got their mechs. Because in Kaku Ranger, this was the first mech that they had gotten. And I use the word mech very, very loosely in this particular case because Kaku Ranger came out around, I like to say around the same time as Zyuranger did. Zyuranger was the first of the Super Sentai shows that I know of where, you know, the robots weren't actually robots. They were just they were more along the lines of like mystical beings of some sort. Like in Zyuranger, you had the Shogozyu, which were like ancient dinosaur gods that could like just all combine into like the dinosaur god's true form or something like that. I think that's how that went. I don't know. I haven't really watched a major amount of old Sentai. I mean, I kind of have. I watched like the first, I want to say 13 episodes of Dairanger. I should really actually look at getting those on DVD because I know that all the shows from Zyuranger to Time Ranger, I think, have been actually licensed and released over here, like in their Super Sentai forms, not just as like, you know, Power Rangers. And I might want to look into getting some of those. Some of the ones that just really interested me, like, cause I really like Dairanger, but Dairanger's robots were the Kidenju, which were just like extensions of the Dairanger's ki. And they basically went the same sort of route in Kaku Ranger, where these were like the Beast Generals here were just kind of like these entities that were summoned and then became extensions of the Kaku Rangers themselves. Like you saw the Kaku Rangers kind of jumping into into like the chest or whatever, and then like they weren't in cockpits or anything. They were just like became the larger forms, which is kind of a cool concept. So you know, I do use the word mecha in this case very loosely because they're not really robots or anything like that. But Muteki Shogun was the first mecha that they would get. And then later they got Tsubasa Maru, and then later they got Kakure Dai Shogun. But when they adapted it into Power Rangers, the opposite occurred. Like, the Power Rangers got their ninja powers or whatever. This is from what I remember as well. I haven't really looked up anything. I probably would know a lot more about it if I did look up a lot of this stuff. But like I said, I'm not really into Power Rangers as Power Rangers anymore. And I talked a lot about that on the Live Robo stuff. But the Ninja Megazord, which is Kakure Dai Shogun, actually came out first, and then Muteki Shogun came out later. And when I found out about this, I thought it was kind of a neat piece of trivia there. And when you really think about it, it does make sense that they would go that route, because Power Rangers was not yet at the point where they were starting a new story every season with a new cast and everything. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers lasted for a few seasons using different shows' footage, and then even up to, I believe, In Space, they kept not having the exact same cast from beginning to end, basically keeping that storyline going along. But during the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stuff, I mean, when they got to Power Rangers Zeo, they started changing up the. When they started changing the footage, they also changed the suits and everything so that they wouldn't have to commission Toei to make more footage for them. And it just ended up easier when they started going to Zeo and O-Ranger, that they just used the same footage and just changed the power set and suits and everything that the Power Rangers got. And it was a big deal at the time, let me tell you, when we were kids, and they was shifting over to Power Rangers Zeo. That was a big deal for me and my friends. But when they were still in Power Rangers, and when they were using the Kaku Ranger footage, they were still using the main 5 Zyuranger suits and the Kiba Ranger suit from Dai Ranger for the main characters. So looking at like the mecha that they had, it made more sense to go with Kakure Dai Shogun first, because Tsubasa Maru is, first off, Tsubasa Maru isn't really like a member of either of these mech groups. It's kind of its own thing. Like it's actually like a sentient, self-governing entity who can power up either of the robots. But it just seemed to integrate better onto the Kakure Dai Shogun. And it also made more sense in the fact that God Kark, which was Ninja White's crane, because they were more based on animals than humanoid, it actually had bits of like dark pink on it. So what they did was they gave the Falcon Zord, which was Tsubasa Maru, to the White Ranger, and then Ninja White's God Kark to the Pink Ranger. And it made more sense that way. And then they would just have reasons for when the Muteki Shogun or the Shogun Zords showed up, that I think the Pink Ranger, there was a whole big thing with the Pink Ranger going on at the time. So they just had the 5 active ones, and then when the Pink Ranger came back, she shared the White Shogun Zord with the White Ranger. Because I know that was the big transition as well between Pink Rangers, because I don't really know the super big details, but the original actress for the Pink Ranger was leaving, and they were bringing it, basically passing the torch on to another actress, and then she was the Pink Ranger for a couple of years into Turbo, I think, and then they overhauled the entire cast at some point in Turbo because all of the actors were getting too old. They weren't passing off as teenagers anymore. I mean, this is also a show where we start off and our main characters all seem to be like high school juniors at the very earliest, or seniors. And, Tommy, the Green Ranger, was there from Season 1. And through up into, that halfway point in Turbo. And, you really couldn't pass him off as a high school senior anymore. I mean, in Turbo, I think they graduated at the beginning of Turbo or something like that. But you know, you had to move along at some point. But again, I really wasn't watching it as much at that point. I remember watching it. I mean, as much as I did watch it, I watched it the most probably during seasons 1 and 2. I watched the parts of season 3 when I could, and I still thought it was cool and stuff because I was a kid. I watched a good chunk of Zeo. Turbo came on during like a transitionary phase when we were moving from Minnesota to Virginia. And I got caught behind and stuff. I didn't really even watch the Turbo movie until much later. I did watch quite a bit after the major cast change, but then, like I said before, when it got to Power Rangers in Space, I was like, okay, screw this, I'm out. Instructions are very modular. I guess that's a way to put it, because you've got like set up so like you can do these parts, and then these parts, and they combine into this, and then this whole thing goes over to here, and then this whole thing goes over to here. It's also very Gunpla. I mean, obviously it's the same company doing all this, but it's very Gunpla-like in my opinion, as far as I can see here. We got our house bit. I know it's not a house. Like Muteki Shogun's shtick was that, like when it was inactive, it took the form of a castle. I guess. I mean, even though they were summoning the parts of it, like the humanoid things, they still retain like the castle elements to them. But that's where like all of these little roofs and stuff come from, is it's supposed to look like a castle. I gotta put a sticker on it first. Even though it's like just a plain gold sticker to go on this plain gold part. And whatever, I'll take it, but seems kind of an odd choice. Does that even fit? Is this even the right part? That's the right part. Is this going to fit on? Because okay, so here's the part. Here's the sticker. There's a lot of overlap there. Maybe it folds down to the edges. It doesn't say that. I mean, there's something in Japanese there, but I can't read that. Am I supposed to cut it? I'm not going to cut it. That's like a step that I don't have the proper tools for. I don't have tiny scissors. I think this is meant to... It doesn't really fold down very well. I mean, it doesn't... Usually if it's meant to fold over the sides, it would be slit in such a way that it would easily do so, but not this. But I think I just wrecked it by like peeling it off and putting it back on. So that's probably not going to stay on very well. It looks like an old candy wrapper. But, yeah. I mean, it fits on better than I thought it would, but still. I made it look terrible now. I feel bad about that. Still, I didn't pay too much for this. It's like around... I want to say it's like the exact same price as Live Robo was. It was a little bit more expensive because we've got more stuff to build with. I think this was like $45 total, which is not a bad price for something like this, if the price for Live Robo is any indication. And it feels more complete for me. Because one of the complaints that I had with Live Robo was that there was also that Live Boxer set, which I still haven't bought, and I'm proud of myself for not doing that because, you know, premium Bandai, and, you know, with it being like almost like over $100 to get less model. But this feels more complete because there really isn't, there really aren't any add-ons that make it feel necessary. Like, the other ones like combined to make Super Live Robo, and I really would have liked that. But in this case, we just have like one complete robot. And yeah, it does have an upgrade, you know, Tsubasa Maru can attach to it, but it doesn't feel... Tsubasa Maru and Super Muteki Shogun, it doesn't feel as... it doesn't feel as necessary to me. So I'm totally okay. Ugh. This sticker sucks. I'm totally okay with not doing that. And yes, there is a Tsubasa Maru in a way. Basically, there is a a Kakure Dai Shogun, or rather, I should say, a Super Kakure Dai Shogun. So it's the Kakure Dai Shogun, as well as a Tsubasa Maru that can attach to it. And the Tsubasa Maru is fully compatible with the Muteki Shogun as well. But you guessed it, the Super Kakure Dai Shogun model is premium Bandai. I actually made sure to look that up because they came out around the same time, and it's like they always seem to come out in twos like that. There's always like a regular one, and then there's like another one from the main series that's a premium Bandai thing, and I immediately saw that and was like, nope, I'm not going to go for that. I like Muteki Shogun, actually, the look of Muteki Shogun. I actually like it more than Kakure Dai Shogun to begin with, so I'm not tempted at all. But there's a couple of them that are kind of like that. Like there's like the Live Robo and Live Boxer, and they always come out around the same time as well to try to goad you into trying to get the limited edition thing. I got a because this isn't the only Super Minipla thing I bought. At the same time, I also bought a Gao Faigar, and first off, I don't know how Bandai got the rights to freaking Gao Gaigar. I'm fairly sure that the Brave series is like strictly Takara territory. Did Bandai buy Takara or something at some point? I just didn't know, because I'm fairly sure that Bandai and Takara Tomy are basically huge rivals when it comes to that sort of stuff. I mean, maybe it was a side effect of Takara letting Bandai put their stuff into Super Robot Wars, which is a mainly Bandai thing. I mean, yeah, it's made by Banpresto, but Bandai has like the most stake in it. They've got, like, from the beginning there was like stuff that Bandai had the rights to, like Gundam and Getter, Robo, and Mazinger. But with Super Robot Wars Alpha 2, they got Gao Gaigar in there somehow, and even more recently they got Mike Gine. Actually, I can do a video about Mike Gine at some point. Not anytime soon, but I have a... Actually, that was one of my lost videos. I say lost video like it's a big deal, but I tried... I have a Mike Gine. I tried doing a video of it, and it was before I had this setup here, before I had a camcorder. I tried putting it on my... that was back when I was doing stuff on my camera phone. On the regular, and I could not fit it in frame. I could not fit it in frame at all, and it made me disappointed. But yeah, they have Gao Gaigar Super Minipla, which really surprised me. But they have like other versions of like Gao Gaigar and stuff that come out. Like they have Choryujin, which is like Enryu and Hyoryu. Folks who know about Gao Gaigar will know what I'm talking about. Hyoryu and Enryu. I think that's like a regular set. And then you have Furyu and Rairyu, which are premium Bandai. I know that the regular Gao Gaigar was a regular. And I think there was like a gold version, like a Heaven and Hell version possibly, or a Goldie and Hammer version, I don't know. There was like a gold version of Gao Gaigar that was premium Bandai. I don't know. But I'll talk more about Gao Gaigar when we get to the Gao Faigar one. I don't actually have the Gao Faigar in my exact possession right now. Hobby Link Japan has this thing that it does called they call it Private Warehouse. And I actually did want them to ship it to me, but it just kind of defaulted to Private Warehouse when I ordered it. Because I ordered that and Muteki Shogun at the same time. And it shipped one, and then like the other one went to the Private Warehouse. Basically, what it is you can purchase the item, and then they'll hold it for you. Like they'll have a place that they put it, like a super safe place. And then when you want to ship it, then you can ship it whenever you want. But it'll save you on shipping to start. Like if you can afford the item, but you can't afford to ship it, you can just pay for the item to make sure that you have it, because you know how the collectibles and toy industry and all that is nowadays, with limited editions and such. And then that is yours. And then when you can afford to ship it, you can ship it whenever you want. And So while it did default to, I would have rather had them ship it to me like right away, but I'm okay with keeping it in there until I get paid next, and then I can better afford it. Oh, also the jackpot striker. Oh boy, that was a thing that happened. So if you've been following my if you follow my Lupin Ranger reviews, my Lupin Ranger versus Patch Ranger reviews, you'll know that I've mentioned jackpot striker a couple times. Well, I don't have one yet. Basically the saga with that, less of a saga and more of a, I probably would have tried to get one right away, but I couldn't afford to do it at the time because, rent and all that comes first. So when you're an adult, sometimes you gotta prioritize money toward, making sure that you have a place to live and have food to eat. So while I do spend more money than I would like on things like this, my money is prioritized toward things like rent and food. And I could not afford to get a Jackpot Striker at the time. Which sucks, because apparently Jackpot Striker was an incredibly popular thing. And it sold out almost immediately. Now, I was checking places, and CS Toys, which is like my another source. I get most of my stuff from HLJ, or Hobby Link Japan. But CS Toys is a good secondary go-to. They had a second wave of pre-orders available because they were supposed to be getting their Jackpot Strikers in a couple different, like 2 different shipments. And the first one sold out pretty much right away, but they were expecting a second shipment, and they're like, okay, well you can pre-order that, and you'll get from the second shipment. I'm like, okay, cool. So I did. And we all went through, paid for everything and all that. This was a couple months ago, by the way, I did this. And I started getting a little uneasy after a while. I'm like, this is taking a while. Maybe Bandai is really just dragging their feet. And more recently I was like, okay, is this even coming? Because I don't even think that the Lupin Ranger vs. Patch Ranger movie is in theaters anymore. And yesterday, because today, as I'm recording this, today is Sunday the 7th. Yesterday, CS Toys put up a thing saying that, Bandai kind of, well, I mean, not in so many words, but Bandai basically screwed the pooch with production. And even though they had ordered a certain, CS Toys had ordered a certain amount of these things to get so that they could sell, their distributor did not, their wholesaler didn't have the stock to give them. And apparently this happened with a lot of other retailers as well. I can only assume HLJ was affected as well here. So, I'm going to eventually be able to get a refund for that. I don't know the refund process myself. They said they would be contacting the customers who pre-ordered individually. And I'm going to have to get it from elsewhere. I mean, I don't blame CS Toys. It's not their fault. This was, again, Bandai dropped the ball here. But the problem is, because, again, of how the toy collection industry is nowadays, I doubt that I'm going to be able to find it for a decent price. Like, I had just checked Amazon when I saw that, because, I do plan on, once the refund goes through, on seeing if I can obtain one from a secondary source if need be. And I noticed that on Amazon, like, the least they're going for, at least when I checked yesterday, is like $75. Now, the retail price for Jackpot Striker is like 3,200 yen, which is about between $30 and $32. So, more than twice. Normally I would have been like, I would be like, no way, but at the same time, that's about, it was like 76 something, with free shipping from Amazon. And that would have been about the same price that I would have been paying for the Jackpot Striker anyway, with shipping, because I was paying more for shipping than I was for the actual thing. Because shipping things from Japan is expensive, you see. So, well, let me get these parts together. It's one of these sort of things where it snaps in. There's kind of a lip on there. So, is that the most ideal, like, paying that much, is it the most ideal situation? No. But it's not something that I would write off right away. I mean, under normal circumstances, like, you know, screw that, that's way too much. Like, I am with a lot of Transformers. I'm pretty much at a point where, like, I've stopped accumulating Transformers for a bit because all the ones that I want now are just too expensive. And there aren't any new ones coming out that I particularly want right now. But, like I said, is it the most ideal situation? No, it's not. But I would be more inclined to do it in this particular case because that $76, just a flat thing with free shipping, is pretty much the same price I would be paying for like a regular retail price thing plus shipping. So it equals out, and I won't feel as bad about it. But I'm not in a position where I can just do that right now. I have to wait to order it into a point where the refund is done or I get paid next. And by that point, I'm fairly sure that like everyone else has the same idea. So by the time I get to it, I'm afraid that the only Jackpot Strikers left on Amazon are going to be the ones that are like $100. And if it comes to that, I'm not paying $100 for it. That's not a thing that's going to happen with me. Like I said, like around the 75. Not ideal, but I'll do it for that because that's how much I would be paying for it in total anyway. But $100, no. Try again. That's not going to be a thing. And the only really irksome thing to me with that in that situation is that when all is said and done, and I'm done collecting for Lupin Ranger versus Patch Ranger, I'll have some components laying around that aren't attached to anything. But also, when all is said and done, it's not the end of the world. I can live with that if it came right down to it. I would rather have all of the things and complete the collection because that's how I am some of the time. I mean, I'm getting a lot better with trying to, oh my god, I got to complete everything, got to complete the collection, get everything possible for this. But as Lupin Ranger versus Patch Ranger is about, we're coming up on episode 35. Or actually, episode 35, I believe, just aired in Japan as of this recording. I don't know how many episodes the show is going to have ultimately, but Super Sentai usually lasts between 48 to 50 episodes per season. And we're at episode 35 now. So we're getting to the end of the line. I think there's only two major... the Lupin Magnum just released. And I'm going to get that if I can. But then we've got like the Siren Striker and the Victory Striker, and as far as I know, that is it. That's the end game for Lupin Ranger versus Patch Ranger. And then for reals this time, I'll be done collecting, new deluxe sets of Super Sentai robots. I know I said that with Q Ranger and then went on to this year's stuff, but I really mean it this time. I'm not gonna do like whatever's next year. They probably announced what's going to be next year anyway, but I digress. So like the only thing that I'll be like super collecting are the Kamen Rider Zeo figures, or the Rider Armor set, the Rider Armor line. And even then, like I said, I'm not going to be collecting all of that to begin with. I'm just collecting the things that interest me for that. And then from there, well, then I'm not really going to be spending a lot of money on things. And when all said and done, that's actually more of an ideal situation than anything else, really. There's going to be like the odd video game that coming out, here and there that I'll probably be getting. But, we don't have a lot of video games that I'm interested in coming out anymore. So that's not only going to save me some time, save me some money, but it's going to save me from getting distracted from my backlog. that's definitely a plus. Because I've been working on my backlog quite a bit. I mean, yes, I have been playing Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI is a special case. Although I am working on a backlog of 140 plus games right now, there are games that I label as new challengers. I don't know if I talked about this before, but just in case I haven't, because this is in my head now and I really want to talk about it now. I like to give things silly names. So the new challengers are basically games that I'm really excited about. I think I think are going to be that interest me to the point of buying them day one, and then they supersede my backlog, and I just focus on that. Dragon Quest XI was definitely that, and it still is. And then I'm going to be back to my as far as home consoles are concerned, I'm going to be back to my regular backlog after beating Dragon Quest XI. But there aren't a lot of games out like that. The only games I can think of that are coming out this year that I'm definitely going to buy and play day one are Earth Defense Force 5. And even then, I'm only going to be playing that online with friends. And probably the Persona 3 and Persona 5 dancing games. And even then, I don't know if they'll. I mean, I'm going to get them as soon as I can with the collector's edition if I can, because collector's editions are something that are usually reserved for if I really, really want to get this day one. Usually, if it's a game that even if it's not a game I'm going to play right away, I'll get certain games day one that I just really want to support the publisher or something like that. Which isn't something that happens too often nowadays. But you can watch the gaming podcast for more details on that. I'm actually rendering today's podcast episode that we did last night. It's almost done rendering. So it's a good thing I chose now to do this, because that can just render while I'm making this video. That's called making the best use of your time. And then once I'm done with all that, then there's a bunch of Let's Play videos I gotta render and edit and render, actually. Editing happens first, and then rendering. And then I'm just gonna, just chill and play Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest is like the first game in quite a long time. I mean, I wouldn't say like super long time. Dragon Quest Builders was like this as well, but Dragon Quest XI is one of those games where I'm overly excited to play it every time I think about it. Like I gotta play this. As soon as possible. Gotta find out what happens next. That doesn't happen very often with games. I love Dragon Quest XI, and the situation is looking bleak. But like recently, I found out that Capcom is. Everyone is asking for, a lot of people are asking for Mega Man X9 for some reason. I say for some reason. You see, a lot of people like Mega Man X. That's understandable. And they're asking for Mega Man X9, because that would be the next Mega Man X game to come out. But they forget that Mega Man X 6 through 8 have happened in the meantime. And that's not really fair to Mega Man X8. I know that there are a lot of people that really like Mega Man X8. I'm not really one of them. I can understand the appeal for a lot of it. It just, I didn't find it... I mean, there were some good parts to it, but I didn't find it as fun as, 1 through 4. As far as, let me take that back off here. As far as the X series is concerned at this point, I've played through the entire X series, thanks to the Legacy collections on the Switch, and I have been able to refresh my opinions on them, because I've always liked Mega Man X through X3. I hadn't played X3 in a long time, but I mean, not a super long time, but I've found playing them all back to back like that. I don't like X3 as much as 1 and 2, because there's a lot of It's very, I think the way that my friend Jordan put it is very bloated with secrets and upgrades to find. And I can agree with that. It's still a really good game in my opinion. I'm not going to say that it's not. But it's not as good as X1 or X1 and X2 are excellent. No pun intended. They are superb games. Mega Man X is my favorite Mega Man game. Just hands down my favorite Mega Man game. And Mega Man X2 is no slouch either. It is very, very, very well done. I used to really, really like Mega Man X5, and I still do like Mega Man X5. I still think Mega Man X5 is good, but nowadays, you know, having played it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the thing with X5 is it was like one of the first like PS1 games I ever really owned. And it was like the only, as a result, it was the only like Mega Man X game that I really owned at the time. And I played it a lot, and I really got used to it and everything. And then I played Mega Man X4 afterwards. And for whatever reason, I didn't like it as much at the time. But going back to it now with the Legacy Collection, you know, obviously X1 and X2 are the best out of the series. I don't think anything is going to take, you know, dethrone them. X3 is also really good. I've gotten a much, much bigger appreciation for X4. X4, I think, is a really, really good game, too. And then X5 has just... It's a good game, but it has a lot of stupid stuff tacked in. The whole time limit part to it was not a great idea. The boss leveling system for getting parts, I like the idea of getting parts from the boss leveling system. And when you fight the bosses themselves the first time around, it's not really all that bad. It's just that when you get later on, when you get into the rest of the game, or when you get to the boss rush of the game, I should say, when you get to the Maverick boss rush, and like everyone is at level 97, which I think is like the highest level that you can get to. The health bars are to the point, or high to the point of annoyance, and I found that I'm pretty much incapable of doing the Sigma battle anymore for some reason. I actually started using the Rookie Hunter mode when playing through those. And then, like, X6, I really hadn't played X6 that much before this. And I found that, I mean, I went in with Rookie Hunter mode straight away because I remember there being a lot of bad level design in it. And I wasn't wrong. I'm glad that I kept the option to have that on there. But I played X7, which if you've seen me play X7 I did play X7 on the channel. X7 is atrocious. And I know that I'm going to be playing it again for reasons, but you know, it's not a good game, like, at all. And X8 is okay, but it's like along the lines of Mega Man X5. And I didn't really have as much fun with it, to be honest. So I don't know if I'm going to really get behind an X9. But they were basically... The point I was making to begin with was that... you know, Capcom's in a similar situation with Square Enix and Dragon Quest. Square Enix says that if we want more Dragon Quest games to come out, then Dragon Quest XI has to do well. And obviously, they are... they would only really say that if Dragon Quest XI wasn't doing as well as they'd hoped. And I'm just afraid that it's going to affect, again, the release of Dragon Quest Builders, which is something I've really, really, really been looking forward to. Dragon Quest Builders 2, I should say. I have Dragon Quest Builders, currently on the Switch. I had it on the PS4 as well. Fantastic game. Better Minecraft game, in my opinion, than Minecraft is. Yeah, I still like Minecraft, but Dragon Quest Builders just takes it up to a whole other level. Okay, this right here, this is stupid. Basically, I have a situation where a peg goes into a hole, but the outside of the peg kind of like mushrooms a little bit, so that it'll like snap in. And let me see if I can focus on this better. It kind of has a little bit of a like kind of goes outward a bit, so that when you put it in, it doesn't come back out the other way. It snaps in properly. Problem is, it doesn't go down the hole the right way. I end up dropping it 10% of the time trying to force it in. And I have to go searching for it sometimes. I had to go searching for the other one. It fell under the couch just a few minutes ago. But I'm going to be at this for like 10 frickin' minutes. I swear, I'm going to be really mad if I have to do this with the legs of every single one of these guys. Because this is like the part of the hip joint for the legs. And I had to do this before, a little bit ago with the other leg, which I completed now, but this doesn't want to go in at all. And I have a feeling that I'm going to have to do this with every single one of these kits, twice with every single one of these kits, because they're legs, so you have 2 of each. And I don't have any way to make it easier to force in. I'm gonna try frickin' a wrench or something. Here, I got this from my big boy toolbox, my big boy tool bag. I'm gonna see if I can kind of force it in like this, because this is like the only thing I can think of is forcing it with a heavy-duty tool like this, or like a vise. Like I don't have a vise, but it worked. Okay, I mean, I was actually expecting this to go like horribly, horribly wrong, and like it break parts or something like that. I was just that desperate to try it, but it actually worked very, very well. It didn't leave any marks on it or anything like that. I will keep it in mind to use these. You see, that just goes to show how much of a competent adult that I am. That I don't know what the tool is called. I want to say pliers, but they're not really pliers or a wrench or anything like that. I mean, it's a wrench. It is a wrench because it does, you know, clamp out on. You can clamp out on nuts and allow you to turn them. But I was thinking more along the lines of the clamping method. I think it's just a clamp. I'm gonna call it a clamp. Next time on Millennials Don't Know What Frickin' Basic Tools Are Called. Jeez. Okay. Anyway, back to my initial rambling there. Square Enix was saying that, you know, we're not going to localize any more Dragon Quest games if Dragon Quest XI doesn't do well. Which, of course, they probably wouldn't say unless Dragon Quest XI wasn't doing well. Capcom said a similar thing. We'll think about making a Mega Man X9 game if Mega Man 11 sells well. But as far as I can tell, Mega Man X11 is doing just fine. So we'll probably be getting a Mega Man X9 again for some reason. If Mega Man X6 through 8 are any indication, I don't know if I would want that anywhere near any of my systems. Then again, I don't have Mega Man 11 either. That was going to be a day one thing for me. Am I going to have to get the clamps back? I'm just going to keep these on standby, just in case more bullcrap like this comes up again. But yeah, if Mega Man X 6 through 9, or 6 through 8, I should say, are any indication, I don't know if I would want a Mega Man X9. I had a... I've played the demo for Mega Man 11, and it's okay. But it's just... It feels more like it was trying to show up Mighty Number 9 than make a good, solid Mega Man game. I mean, I'm probably wrong. A lot of people are praising the crap out of it, but they also praised the crap out of Mega Man 9 and 10, and I didn't think as highly of those. Especially 9 when it came out. I've warmed up to 9 a lot more recently, but I hated 9 back when I first played it. Everyone is still on the bandwagon that says, oh yeah, Mega Man is built around being incredibly difficult. Even though it's not. And that's just mostly something that was put into people's minds by the fact that a lot of people who play video games now aren't very good at them, or aren't as good at them. I don't know if there's a good way to put that, really. They're not as used to playing games like that. And did I have trouble with Mega Man games back when I was a younger child? Yes, I did. I don't know. Maybe it's just the repetition for me. I played. I can play Mega Man 3 with no problems. Yes, Mega Man 3 is one of the easier classic games, but I can also play Mega Man 5 and I can play Mega Man 6 no problems at all. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because it may be I'm just looking at it from an entirely different perspective, from a perspective of someone who's actually practiced the games enough to be good at them. And I mainly just see the games. I mainly just see the games being difficult back in the day, because I was really bad at games when I was a kid. Really, really bad at games. I was one of those kids who would like throw fits every time I died in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I never. I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was one of the farthest games I got the farthest in. A lot of the games I didn't. A lot of the Mega Man games, in fact, when I was younger, I didn't beat on my own. My friend would play them and give me passwords to get to Dr. Wily. Like, I never really, when I was a kid, I never really did the in Mega Man 3. I never really did the revisiting the stages parts, because I found them difficult and never got good enough to beat them. So again, I could just be talking out of my butt with all this. Mega Man games weren't hard back in the day. They're just overselling that. I still think that they are overselling it, but or at least trying to emulate something that never really existed. Because from what I understand, Mega Man 11 can be pretty hard at times too. But that's not the reason why I don't really want to play it right now. It's not that I don't want to play it. I am interested in getting it still. It's just I'm not. I stopped being interested in playing it, or getting it day one and playing through it right away. I'm sure that it's good, and I'm sure that I will. I'm sure that I will enjoy it when I do finally get around to playing it. But it's not anything that, again, I see as something like a new challenger. It's not something that's going to supersede my backlog in any way. And I'd rather play, what's the next game I'm going to be playing? Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 1. Well, Kingdom Hearts, like all of them, because it's that disc for PS2. But I'd rather be just get to my backlog and play games that I already have in my possession, and I don't feel like I need to go out of my way to play it. Is the thing. I'm just I'm at the point where I'm just starting to really finish up with some of these sprues. The gold F1 is done. And I'm almost done with... All that's really left on one of the red ones here is the weapon. And I got like one bit left on the silver part. Just a couple bits left on this black part here. In fact, I'm just about to take 2 of the 3 parts off of this now. So we're almost done. I've got like about it. I mean, I know that there's a lot of it that I've cut out, especially when struggling with certain pieces, but we've got about an hour, 15 minutes almost of footage at this point. So yeah, I would say that my, I mean, part of that is for the intro as well, but that was only a couple minutes. So yeah, I would say that total build time is probably going to be around 5 to 7 hours, or closer to 7 hours, I think. I've also decided that I'm not going to put up music in these videos for this. I did that. I know I did that with the Live Robo, but when I'm changing the, I normally go for video game music either way because it's like the easiest to have as background music and not be super intrusive. But it's going to be hard to find and not reuse that many video game tracks that I like. Especially when I have longer videos like this, and I'm going to be changing them out every, like, 10 minutes or so. And even then I can see that getting repetitive. I know this is not the greatest angle either, but don't really have much of another angle. Like, my new couch is a little bit further away from the table as well. So you're probably seeing even less of my... I mean, even then, you're not really seeing much of the building aspect of it. I don't even know why I call these build videos. It's just like, I'm building a thing and then talking about the stuff. It's kind of like a Let's Play, only I just happen to be building a robot model and not playing a video game. But it's whatever. I'm going to be showing off the completed model when it's done anyway, so... not that big a deal, I don't think. Alright, so that's the other leg done. Alright, then there's going to be more connecty bits to bring the legs together, and that's going to attach to the body, and then I make the little helmet for the combined robot. So that's going to finish off the silver bit here. That's done. I'm going to start putting the finished ones over here. I'm very, very clumsy. I hate it when I drop things like that. That guy's done. Seems to have less and less battery life the more I use this thing. I want to think about getting a better camera, but... I mean, this was like a $300 camera as it was, and I can't even use it to its full extent. I know this is capable of doing like super HD stuff, but the problem is it puts it in a proprietary format that can only be read by its by proprietary software. And the proprietary software, guess what, doesn't work with Linux, and I use Linux because I don't like Windows 10. I don't like Apple either. So I have the thing that's actually, it's free, and doesn't run many games on there. I think that's like the main thing that people try to, when they tell me about PC games. Because my friend Jordan, you know Jordan. Jordan is a big PC gamer, and he keeps telling me about all these cool games he's playing on PC, and I'm like, I probably can't run that because I don't have Windows. But when it comes right down to it, as far as my video gaming stuff, I don't play much on a computer anyway. I mainly use my computer for editing videos. Are there games on my computer? Yes, there are games on my computer. Mostly older games that I got through GOG. I do have Undertale on there, though. That's when I first played Undertale. Was through my my Linux box, because that can actually play on there. But when it comes to, like, if I do get any newer games, I usually get them on console, because I have a PS4 and a Switch. I also have a Wii U and a PS3 and stuff, but I don't play those as much. In fact, I'm planning on actually getting rid of my PS3 once I'm done playing all the games I need to play on it. I say games I need to play, but okay, so the basic figure is done here, but I'm just gonna show that off later once I'm actually done with everything that I'm making here. So now we're going on to the robot helmet. This has an excessive amount of stickers on it. Oh dear. Okay, let's get right to it then. But the main thing that everything wants to be on is Windows, because that's the most prominent operating system on computers. To the point where when you say personal computer these days, it doesn't necessarily mean just a personal computer. It means a computer that runs Windows. But I don't like Microsoft anymore, really. The older computer that I was using, which technically isn't even mine, it's my friend Travis's laptop. He says it's fine that he doesn't like. Okay, so here's the thing with Travis's laptop. It ran Windows 7, and it worked fine for what I needed it to do. And what I needed it to do was, I watched some things on it. Like I had video files I watched on it. I didn't really play games on there. I just mainly used it for computer things. And then for recording and editing videos. And it was fine. And then it stopped being really usable when Windows 10 started rolling out. Because after a while with Windows 10, they started being of the mind where they wanted it to be more like a subscription-based thing. And they started forcing folks to they started trying to force folks to upgrade by already like pre-installing Windows 10, or at least part of Windows 10 on there. And I wasn't biting. I have my reasons for not... I mean, I use Windows 10 on my work computer now, because that's just what's on there, and I don't even like it that much there. But I have, like, legitimate other reasons for not going with Windows 10. And it's trying to force me to upgrade to Windows 10 by, you know, installing it on there. And then just, like, keeping it under a paywall or an agreement to use it. And as a result, it's taken up, like, all of the hard drive or the memory. And this is back when, like, Squeeze the World as an entity was first starting. Or at least the Squeeze the World gaming part. And I was trying to upload a part of Fatal Frame. We were playing Fatal Frame at the time. And the system would keep crashing every time I tried to upload the video because it ran out of memory. Because it was also having the Windows 10 on there. So I said, screw this, I'm not using this anymore. And that's why I started just playing PS4 games. Because it was the only way that I had to record and upload videos. Was just doing it through PS4 Share until I got my capture box and the Linux computer I'm using. And that was, even then, that was after like almost a year. But that's, you know, why I don't have... That's why I use Linux. Because I don't want Windows 10, and I don't want something to keep forcing me to upgrade to Windows 10. So, yeah. Can't force me to upgrade to Windows 10 if I use a completely different operating system. And yeah, I know, as a result, I really can't play a lot of games on my computer, but I don't want to play games on my computer. I play games mostly on the consoles. And even then, the games I do have on my computer are just like old stuff from GOG. Like I have Undertale on there, yeah, but I also have like a bunch of like old DOS D&D games and like a few other things I got from GOG. And that's pretty much like the extent of stuff on there. I mean, as much as I don't like Steam nowadays because of how it's been running itself, I do want to get Half-Life at some point, because I know Half-Life will run on Linux. I have Half-Life 2 on my PS3. And I'm going to play on that, but I do want to play Half-Life 1, and it's, you know, episodes or whatever before I do that. And I do have other games that I've gotten through Steam, usually through gifting, like Pillars of Eternity, which I plan on playing. There's a lot of other games on Steam I should probably look at to add to the list, but it really isn't stuff I'm super interested in. As much as I sound like an asshole for not playing games that were gifted to me. I was going to play Metro at one point on the channel, but that just ended up not happening. But yeah, once I'm done with... At one point in my backlog, I have a system purge plan where I basically play all of the games on a particular system and then just put it away. But the PS3 is actually going to be one that I'm going to be getting rid of. I thought about getting rid of my Wii U as well, but it does have a lot of virtual console games that I really can't play any other way, like Mario RPG, so at least I can't play any other way without emulating, is what I mean to say. But, you know, I do have more of a reason to keep my Wii U around than my PS3. Alright, I'm going to have to try to... There's some stickers I forgot to put on the robot face. And they're really tiny stickers, so now I got to try to tweezer them in there. Oh, these are... oh, God, this is going to suck. This is going to suck. Alright. So, the robot face is in here. I have to try to apply because I can't take this apart again. I mean, I probably could, but who knows what damage it'll do to the connected bits. So I'm gonna try to do this the best I can. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, it's gonna be like the Aqua Dolphin all over again. Just trying to take it off, take it apart, and put it back together. Just for one little bit. I'm afraid if I take this apart, it's gonna like tear the pegs or something. Unfortunately, with the way that these two halves are molded, it's kind of hard to get some leverage in here because there are parts on one arm that aren't on the other. Okay, well, I got it. Doesn't seem to be any harm done, so I'm already stressed out. That's a good sign. This is going to be amazing when it's done, though. I know I say that a lot for these, but it doesn't make it any less true. Okay. I'm going to orient this a little bit different for the next few videos, because I'm like not on camera at all with these. Alright, so that's the helmet bit done. Little crane. And lastly, the big old sticker. Got the weapon here. Okay, so we're done now. And what we have here, we have Red Saruder himself. He's very red. He's got kind of a monkey-esque head. There's like a sticker that I put on there, if it'll focus. Hold on, let me, boop. Focus on that. There we go. So the face was painted, but there was still a sticker that kind of like went over his eyes. It isn't put on exactly, so it kind of looks weird, but it's fine. Let's boop on him again. Trying to hold him straight for the camera because the camera's kind of at a weird angle. Again, this kind of turned out crappy with the way I handled the stickers, but the rest of it looks fine. There's some nice detailing on there. Each of the Kaku Rangers really had like a symbol that was associated with them, as well as a letter of some kind. And for Ninja Red, it was circles and the letter S, I think for Sasuke, which was his name. But he also comes with the Saruder Slicer, which is this shield-looking thing. He can hold that in his hand like this. So yeah, that's him holding it. The arms do come off very easily because these ball joints are kind of bad, at least the way that they're oriented. They kind of just loosely put on. I can't get them to snap in any more than that. It's just a very, very odd design choice. I don't even know. I may have done it wrong. It's very possible that I may have done it wrong. I need to reorient things. But still, it's a very poor design on the shoulders there. But, you know, there's some good articulation. It is fully articulated. The knee joints are particularly tight because of that those problem joint parts that I was having earlier. But yeah, that's the figure itself. He also has a ball joint for the head. But yeah, nice little figure on his own still. There's also this little bit for helping to connect the weapons together to make the big super weapon for the robot. And you also have the little helmet crane thing, which is pretty nicely detailed. You also have the robot face underneath, but it's not supposed to be like super visible until he's an actual helmet. This actually stores in the back here. Just open up the back like this, and fold him up, and he should fit down like this. Yeah. And then just close him back up. I said close him back up. There we go. So he's got some little bits sticking out the back, but that's how you store the helmet. That's how you store the helmet on the toy, too. So there you go. That is Red Saruder, and that is the first kit done for the Muteki Shogun set. And tomorrow's video, we're going to be doing White Kark. And in the meantime, I'm going to be seeing if I can do some. I'm going to see if I can do something with these shoulder joints. But until then, I've been Rado Goji, and I'll be here next time. Join me, won't you?